Hey, how you guys doing? Welcome to Randy's Road Life. I'm obviously Randy. Never know, maybe someone will try to impersonate me one of these days. Who knows? Anyways, please like and subscribe if you already haven't, so you get these notifications. I don't just tackle the trucking industry and all these ridiculous, misinforming trucking companies, but very important things dealing with life. Now, I'm about to do a video about the racial awareness and our collective failure as a society. This is not a Black Lives Matter video. This is not a video about protesting and rioting and all that type of stuff. It has nothing to do with that, all right? I'm doing, and this is not a video, an angry video about me being a white man and not apologize for what I am. It has no, I don't care about none of that. It doesn't, my wife is black, my son is biracial, my daughter is black, and half my family's black, and my side of the family is like multi-ethnic or whatever, and my wife's side of the family also has multiple ethnicities in it and stuff like that. So it's very integrated. And I think what's important, first of all, in order for us to learn and understand one another, we got to review history. Okay, we got to review history, and we got to be objective about history and how things have come about. Now, let's go back a little bit. We got the black community even during slavery, in while all that was going on. I'm talking about from the 16th, 17th, 1800s, whatever. Even though some of them weren't in the South, doesn't mean they were free. There was a vast amount of economic slavery happening in the North, in other parts of the so-called United States at that time, So just because someone was physically enslaved in the South doesn't mean they weren't already economically enslaved in the North. The Emancipation Proclamation didn't really save the slaves, other than the physical oppression that was going on in the South. Yeah, it freed them to a certain extent to weaken the South during the Civil War. If you look up and research what happened with the 152nd Regiment out of Massachusetts, the first black regiment out of Massachusetts, and how they were treated very poorly by their white counterparts and senior officers and things like that, and they died, doing what they were supposed to do when they enlisted, and then they went and died. Okay, so you have the freedom of the slaves. Now you got to understand, people coming over here, none of us over here, unless we're 100% indigenous, i.e. Native American, none of us are indigenous to this country as far as our ancestry is concerned. We're all we all came from immigrants, right? So remember that, the Europeans coming over here to settle the Americas, this land, they weren't free of any blame, because see how they treated the Native Americans, the indigenous population. They were warmly received, and next thing you know, they just over the next couple of years decimated them, until you get to the 1800s and they stole their land. Just bye, peace out, kick rocks. I'm talking about the East Coast, where you got the Cherokee, the Chickasaw, the Cree, the Seminoles, and all of them Native Americans. Their land was annexed. I think it was Andrew Jackson. I think. So, anyways, they were made to migrate all the way to other parts of the country, primarily Oklahoma, and it caused a huge toll on them, especially the Cherokee Nation, who had a very large territory that was in North Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia. It might have been parts of Alabama, I can't really recall, but they had a very large territory. And they were a well-educated tribe. They had libraries, they had schools, they even had an alphabet system, stuff like that. So they had a writing system. So they were ahead of their time at that time. But going back to the black community, you know, you release these people from their servitude in the South, all right? And they had been escaping, you know, here and there through the Underground Railroad, and they received help and things like that. But still, you come up north and you're still dealing with emotional, economic slavery. After a couple hundred years ago, your language was ripped from you, your religion was ripped from you, your identity that's in both of those prior ones was taken from you. You was given a different name, a different language, and a different religion. All right? And then you were placed under such servitude, you know, back-breaking, unforgiving oppression for the next 300 to 400 years. So that is, you know, it's very difficult to raise up out of. Now, if we look back over, you know, time, we're dealing with, the children of Israel were enslaved for hundreds of years, you know, and coming out of the slavery in the United States, the reparations did not fit what needed to happen in order to equalize the population so everyone can work together in unison. It could not happen, right? Because they didn't allow it to happen. So then up through the next 150 years, I mean, look what's going on today. I mean, over the last, when you look back through all the 1900s, we got all the lynchings, the murders, things like that. You know, how many black men, women, and children were murdered by law enforcement, you know, and racist individuals that we don't even know about. All right, we don't even know. So the racial awareness has to be a discussion dealing with history up to the present time so we can understand, right? And I understand because I see the history. You know, it's only, you can understand why when people saying they're being oppressed, they're not getting equal rights, because in some cases they're not. It's just, you know, it's a sad truth. You know, if you look all through the 1900s, you see all the lynchings, you see the murders, you see black leaders being taken out and murdered and assassinated. Some, like Malcolm X, by his own people. You know, there's a song called, I'm going to challenge you guys to look up the song. It's by a black rock group called Living Color, and they have a song called Cult of Personality. Please look that song up. It's a very well written song lyrically. If you listen to it, you know, he's talking about leadership, you know, and followers and things like that. And it's a very important song to listen to because it's very of the times, what's going on, you know. Dealing with Martin Luther King being shot and other black leaders being assassinated and discredited and not taken seriously. So today, you know, you have the breakdown. As a result of all that, you have the breakdown of the black family. I was watching a video, and one of the, I guess, scholars or whatever, who let's see, is, she said, excuse me, it was a she, it was a black woman, stated that 76% out of 100%, 76% black women are single, who have kids are single mothers. 76%. All right. The family structure in the black community has completely deteriorated. All right. As a result of poverty and people turning to means of getting money and employment, whether it's illegal or not, you know. And then you got the advent of gang violence, drugs, and it's horrible, you know. So up until today, now you have the entertainment industry raising kids by their content, and the entertainment industry is horrible, man. It's bad. You know, we have these music artists of raising our kids through their music. We're talking about the glorification of drugs, the glorification of debasing women, women also debasing themselves in their own music, teaching young girls how to grow up to be thoughts and hoes. So men doing the same thing. Men are teaching boys how to look at women in an entirely unhealthy perspective, which also deteriorates the ideal of the family, of being man and woman. Now, this has nothing to do with the gay community, so just because I say that, you know, doesn't mean, oh my God, he's anti-gay. Look, mind your business, I'll mind my business. I don't care what you do behind closed doors. It has none of my business. It has nothing to do with the gay community. All right, so I just want to throw that out there because of what I just said. Now, so now we have the breakdown of the family. You know, when I look at my daughter, she goes on YouTube, she watches these shows, and these young people in their teens and early 20s, and how they're carrying it on, and they think it's funny because of the way they're debasing each other and being disrespectful. And she thinks that's funny. She thinks it's cool. She says she wants a haircut like Young Boy. Well, come on, man. Are you serious? There is identity crisis with young people because they want to emulate unhealthy behavior. They want to emulate individuals who do not promote healthy activity. See? So this is an issue. This is a really bad issue. And it doesn't matter now because young people are being so integrated between white and black and things like that, and Mexican. So the culture, it's a cultural phenomenon that's occurring, you know, and that should tell everybody something. The cultures are integrating and becoming a culture. So society collectively is failing, because it's not just the black community, it's the white community, it's the Mexican community, the Spanish community, or whoever else is involved in this. It's the community as a whole collectively. It's not a white or black issue anymore. You know, this is not the mid to early 1900s anymore. The issue is so widespread and collective, you know, and the leadership is so lacking. The substance in leadership is almost non-existent. It's about politics and money. You know, where are the pastors? Where are the churches? They're being shut down. You see the COVID-19 thing happening, they're shutting churches down. You know, the one place in our society that can help bring order and substance to people's lives is being destroyed. Okay? So that is also very important, because look, the black community was raised in Christianity. You know, the family tie used to be very strong. But the breakdown of the church, the dismantling of all the substance that the leadership used to have is now to the highest bidder. So look at politics now. It's pandering, you know. So this is my take on the issue. Let's look at history. Let's help each other. Let's grow. You know, the racial divide is so ridiculous. My belief is that racial ignorance or blatant ignorance is the most lucrative thing there is. It doesn't make no sense to me. First and foremost, we all bleed the same blood. My blood can be transferred into a black man. We have the same blood type. If we had the same blood type, and vice versa. You know, if I needed a transfusion, I wouldn't care where the blood came from as long as it matched my blood type. Why would I give it? I wouldn't give a damn. If I needed an organ transplant and it came from a black woman or a black man, so what? First and foremost, my belief in God tells me a very, very profound thing, right? The creation of man and him splitting off into tribes and nations means something to me. This is what it means to me, all right? So let me begin by saying this. If we were all the same race, if we were all the same people, we all had the same culture, all did the same thing, all had the same knowledge, it would be the most uninteresting world ever. There would be nothing interesting about each other. We wouldn't care what they were doing over across the country or across the other side of the world. We wouldn't give a damn because we already know it's boring. So here we are, split up in all these nations and races, you know, African and Arab and Chinese and Japanese and Indonesian and all, I mean, everywhere. You know, it makes it interesting because I want to know about Japan. I want to know about China. I want to know about Russia. I want to know all these different things. They're interesting because they're different cultures. They have interesting aspects to their lives. Things that are, you know, a lot of times ambient in a way because we look over there and we see how rich the culture is. The food is different. The people are different, you know, and so we're interested in knowing about these people and them knowing about us. So this is why racism is so stupid. You know, it's an oxymoron because we're all people under one God. None of us as a race is superior. We all lend to the human race. We all lend to the human race in strengths and also weaknesses. But the thing about it is, our strengths are supposed to overcome the weakness collectively because we're supposed to help each other stand on our own 2 feet. Where one people is lacking, another people is strong. And so we build the wall like that. We build the wall like that. We make up for the weakness with each other. You know, what do I look like telling my biracial son that his, you know, other half is inferior? That makes no damn sense to me. In my opinion, he's got great genetics. He's got great genetics. You know, and I think that maybe at some point we may, you know, society in the large scheme of things will overcome the superior inferior complexes. But it's about racial awareness. But in having racial awareness, you have to be objective. You got to set aside your personal bias. You got to set aside your feelings. Because in order to judge a situation, you got to step back out of your own skin. Alright? If you're looking at a judge on a bench, he's got a plaintiff and a defendant in front of him. Right? He can't act as if he's the victim. He can't act as if he's one of the attorneys or DEA. He can't act like none of that. He is a sole individual there to make a rendering based on the facts. And some of them facts sometimes brings in some history. In this situation, we have to look at history because we have a race of people, human beings, we're all human beings who have been oppressed in every way And so if you look at and there's the breakdown. This is where we're at today, people. You know, and I hope you guys received this well. And you know, it's sad what's going on today. You know, with all the racial divide and the pointing fingers and the blaming and things like that. I can understand the blame. I can understand looking at people and you know, laying the blame. You know, there are those people whose wills are so strong that they overcome that. I mean, you got to look, man, there's been so many great people who have overcome odds that some may have thought were insurmountable. You know, and we all have to adopt that ideal that we can overcome all these insurmountable obstacles. Because when you look at it, as human beings, in these thousands of years, we have done some amazing things that is mind-boggling. Even thousands of years ago, there are things that have occurred that we still don't even know how they did it. Okay, this is the issue I'm talking about. If they could then look forward and see what's going on now, they would be mind-boggled due to the technology we have today. You know? So, there's no doubt that we learn and we discover, but we attack knowledge of different things more aggressively than we attack learning ourselves as an entire human race, right? We don't want to know about that. We want to know about the next phone, the next video game, you know, the next car, the next song from a music artist, the next movie. That's what we're trying to figure out. So our minds have been shifted into an entirely different realm, you know, of culture, and this is the problem. We are no longer mindful of the family infrastructure anymore, like we used to be. You know. So this is my take on everything, and I hope you guys receive it well. And I'm gonna let you know that I don't dwell on people's negativity. I don't want your negativity. I'm interested in moving forward. Myself and everyone else around me, doesn't matter what your race is to me. I could care less. I could care less. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're white, you're pink, you're brown, you know, turquoise. I don't give a damn about that. It doesn't matter. Substance to me is the most important thing about an individual. Substance. When I meet an individual's substance, you know, I have a profound respect for the individual, because today it is so difficult to find in people, and for you white people who are having these you know, issues with the black community, you know, and feeling as if you're being targeted. Look, I'm like, I deal with black people on a very high level and consistent basis. Okay, obviously the other side of my family, my wife, her family's black, but even so, it doesn't matter. I'm so well received in her family. I love everybody and they all love me. It's great. There's no rift there between us. But out here, I communicate and I run into black people all the time. It's a society of people, not races. It's a society of people, and I don't have an issue. Everyone's professional. Everyone's calm and cool. You know, everyone's polite. It's about character and how you treat people, what your demeanor is, what your character tells somebody else, what your vibe tells somebody else. And then you'll get treated like the vibe you give off. If I walk into a store and I got this disgusting vibe, you know, I got this chip on my shoulder, you know, I got this look on my face that's telling people I have an issue, I will be treated like like that. But I treat every individual like the human being they are, because that's what we are. We're all human beings under God. You know? So I don't treat an individual like he's a black man. I treat an individual like he's a human being. Where none of us are really any different. The only thing different about us is our culture and cultural upbringing, ideals and things like that. These things have to come together, you know. And the leaders have to stop and think about, it's about the people, not about the money, not about the recognition. It's about the message. You know, it's about doing the right thing, whether you get paid for it or not. You know, I guess that's my little rant about the whole issue. And I hope you guys enjoy this talk. This is what's going on inside of my head. And I hope you guys like and subscribe, follow my channel. I like to believe that I help you in some way. I like to receive comments that also help me in some way. So I do involve truck driving a lot in these videos, because probably, you know, to like 60%, 75%, this is what it's about. It's Randy's road life. Me being on the road. You can see I'm in my truck, got my CB right here, sleeper right behind me, all that good stuff. About to go home to my beautiful black wife. We're going on a family vacation to my white family. All right, where everybody is loved. All right, they love this woman, and she gets along with everybody fabulously. It's great. I love it. You know, even if anyone in my family said any nasty slur about my woman, they will have a very bad day. Not putting up with it. Not putting up with it. All right. So you guys like and subscribe. Let's follow each other, and you know, let's learn from each other. Let's move forward as a people, as human beings. You know, and let's hoist each other up. The only one who is superior is God. He's the only one that's superior. We are all at fault. We are all frail. We are all human beings. Under the skin, we are all the same. Okay? So you guys have a good day. I'm about to have my day is going to hopefully get way, way, way better. We got a long drive ahead of us when I get home, and we got to pack up the kids and stuff like that. That's always fun. So the wife went back to sleep after she was supposed to be awake and get things taken care of. Man, that's why the man's got to be home. Anyways, I'm just joking. So you guys have a good day, and I love everyone. This is about the human race, everybody. Let's move forward.